It's the biggest gang in Honduras, exported from the streets of LA to the streets of Central America.
But MS-13 is particularly violent. They don't like shooting people because it's too quick.
MS-13.
MS-13.
MS-13. Murder, extortion, sleep, repeat. It's just an average day in the life of a notorious MS-13 gang member, one of the most feared and dangerous gangs in the world, with a reputation for extreme violence, organized crime, and terrorizing entire communities. It's not hard to see why. Subscribe now to learn more about lawbreakers, and watch the video to the end to find out the 10 reasons why MS-13 is the most feared gang in the world. 1. International reach. The history of MS-13 goes way back and originates in 1980, when a civil war was tearing El Salvador apart. A group of young men began to form a gang to protect themselves. Fast forward to the present day, and it's not just a local gang, it's a global organization with a presence in over 40 countries. This means that they have access to resources, weapons, and criminal networks all over the world. And if you mess with a branch of MS-13, you're likely to incur the wrath of the entire organization. 2. Brutal initiation process. If you want to join MS-13, you better be prepared to prove your loyalty. Because when it comes to joining the MS-13 gang, there's no easy path. The initiation process is violent and often deadly. It is notoriously brutal and involves beating, raping, or killing someone. Yes, you heard that right. In order to join the MS-13, you may have to commit murder. This ensures that only the most ruthless and dedicated members are allowed in. To become a member of MS-13, one must first catch the attention of the gang's higher-ups. This can be done by committing a violent crime, such as murder or assault, or by demonstrating extreme loyalty and commitment to the gang's cause. Once a potential member has been identified, the initiation process begins. The first step in the initiation process is a beating. The potential member is surrounded by several current members of the gang, who then proceed to beat them mercilessly. This beating serves as a test of the potential member's toughness and loyalty. If they're able to withstand the beating without showing weakness, they move on to the next stage. The next stage of the initiation process is known as jumping in. This involves being beaten by several current members of the gang while reciting the gang's oath. The beating can last for several minutes and can include punches, kicks, and even the use of weapons. Once the potential member has recited the oath and proven their ability to withstand the beating, they become a full-fledged member of MS-13. But the initiation process doesn't end there. In order to prove their loyalty to the gang, new members are often required to commit a violent crime. This can range from robbery to murder, and is meant to demonstrate the member's willingness to do whatever it takes to protect and advance the gang's interests. 3. Ruthless leadership. MS-13 is run by a group of ruthless leaders who demand absolute loyalty and obedience from their members. These leaders are known to be extremely violent and will stop at nothing to maintain their power and influence. One of the key ways that the MS-13 gang maintains its control is through the use of violence. Members who disobey orders or fail to live up to the gang's expectations are often subjects to brutal beatings or even murder. This fear of retribution helps to keep members in line and ensures that they remain obedient to the gang's leaders. The leaders of the MS-13 gang are also known for their business acumen. By controlling criminal enterprises, the gang's leaders are able to amass large amounts of wealth and power, which they use to further their agenda and maintain their control over the gang members. If you cross them, you can expect to suffer the consequences. 4. No fear of law enforcement. Unlike some other gangs that try to avoid the police, MS-13 has no fear of law enforcement. In fact, they often target police officers and their families as a way to assert their dominance and instill fear in the community. And with their extensive criminal networks, they have the resources to bribe, intimidate, or even kill anyone who tries to bring them down. 5. Involvement in organized crime. MS-13 is not just a group of street thugs. They're also heavily involved in organized crime. One of the most well-known criminal activities of the MS-13 gang is drug trafficking. The gang is heavily connected in the production, transportation, and distribution of illegal drugs such as cocaine, heroin, and methamphetamine. They've established networks throughout the United States and Central America, and their reach extends to other parts of the world as well. In many cases, the profits from drug trafficking are used to fund other criminal activities, such as weapons trafficking and human smuggling. Human smuggling is another area where the MS-13 gang is heavily involved. They are known to operate smuggling routes between Central America and the United States, often using violence and intimidation to control the flow of migrants. Once migrants arrive in the United States, the gang may force them to work in slave-like conditions or exploit them for other criminal activities. In some cases, the gang has even been involved in the trafficking of women and children for sexual exploitation. 6. Rivalries. When it comes to the MS-13 gang, rivalries run deep. From battles over territory to disagreements over drug profits, the gang has been involved in some of the most violent turf wars in recent memory. One of the most well-known rivalries within the MS-13 gang is with the 18th Street Gang, a rival gang that operates in many of the same neighborhoods. The two gangs have been involved in numerous deadly clashes over the years, with each trying to assert dominance over the other. In one particularly violent incident, members of the MS-13 gang stormed a bar in San Salvador, where members of the 18th Street Gang were known to hang out. The resulting fight left several people dead and many more injured. But still, the most tragic rivalry within the MS-13 gang is with law enforcement. 7. Control of prisons. When it comes to the world of prisons, there's one gang that reigns supreme: MS-13. With a strong presence in many prisons across the United States, MS-13 is known for their ability to control the drug trade, extort other inmates, and even commit acts of extreme violence without consequence. But how do they do it? One of the ways MS-13 controls prisons is through their sheer numbers. With an estimated 50,000 members worldwide, MS-13 has a vast network of members inside and outside of prison. This means that they have the ability to move drugs and weapons in and out of prison with relative ease, as well as the power to intimidate other inmates and even prison staff. Another way MS-13 controls prisons is through their use of violence. MS-13 is known for their extreme acts of violence, which include beheadings, dismemberments, and even cannibalism. And when it comes to prison, they're not afraid to use violence as a means of asserting their dominance. Inmates who refuse to pay taxes or obey the gang's rules may face severe consequences, including beatings or even murder. 8. Extreme violence. MS-13 is known for their extreme acts of violence, which include beheadings, dismemberments, and even cannibalism. They're also notorious for their use of machetes, which they often use to injure or kill their victims. And with their reputation for violence, they're able to intimidate entire communities into submission. 9. Use of social media. MS-13 is not just a gang, it's also a social media phenomenon. They use platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to recruit new members, communicate with each other, and even plan their crimes. And with their ability to reach a global audience, they're able to spread their message of fear and violence far and wide. 10. No remorse. Perhaps the scariest thing about MS-13 is their complete lack of remorse. Whether it's engaging in brutal acts of violence or carrying out heinous crimes, members of the MS-13 gang seem to have no qualms about their actions. One reason for the lack of remorse among MS-13 members is the strict code of loyalty. The gang operates under a hierarchical structure, with high-ranking members giving orders to lower-ranking members. In order to rise through the ranks, members must demonstrate their willingness to carry out orders without hesitation or remorse. This creates a culture in which showing remorse is seen as a weakness and a betrayal of the gang. Members of the gang are often indoctrinated into a belief system that places the gang above all else, including family, friends, and even the law. This creates a sense of blind loyalty that can be difficult to break, even in the face of the most heinous crimes. In the eyes of MS-13 members, showing remorse for their actions would be a betrayal of the gang and everything it stands for. That was all for this video. But come on, man, why haven't you subscribed yet? Do it now to be sure never to miss our upcoming videos. Catch you later.